Well, hi all you YouTubers and welcome Busters. Hey, this video is inspired by a subscriber. Yeah, I had a question from Mike E. He saw the Wig Wag solar system video and saw me using a round nose tweezer as a pleating tool, and he wanted a little bit more information and a little more detail on that, so that's what we're going to do today. Alright, welcome YouTube and welcome back to all my Buster buddies. This is your Big Kahuna Brad and this is Brad's Boredom Busters, your tie-dye art channel. Okay, so yes, I did have a question from Mike E about doing pleating with tweezers, and so we're going to get into detail about that. So the shirt that I'm going to do to demonstrate that is basically what I'm wearing today. So I made this as an experiment. It's a wig wag in the middle of a honeycomb mandala. And so that's what we're going to be tying up today. And I'll show you that in detail then when we get into pleating the shirt out. I'll bring the camera down low so Mike can see exactly what we're doing. So I have a 100% cotton t-shirt already pre-washed and then soaked in soda ash solution for 20 minutes and then put into the washer and spun out so it's just slightly damp. It's waiting for me over here at the table. And the other tools you'll need for this project, you're going to need sinew to tie up this project. Also, I think we're just going to scrunch up the back, so rubber bands as well. You'll need a piece of string to create an arc across the shirt so you can fold it up along that line. So you'll need a washable marker as well. And then to help lay out the honeycomb mandala, you'll need a protractor and then a ruler to lay out your lines as well. And that's probably about it. So I've got the shirt ready. It's over here at the table and let's get started. Okay, Busters. So here we are ready to tie up our shirt. So first thing we have to do for this pattern is center the shirt. So let's do that. All right, so we are all centered. Now we want to actually find the center of the shirt for the honeycomb. So bring the bottom up to the collar. That'll give you your center there. All right. And so for the 18-point mandala, we use our protractor to lay out our points. So as previous videos, if you've seen those, if you haven't, we're going to mark every 20 degrees around the protractor. So line that up to the center and just go around and mark off. All right, so that's that. Quick reminder that you'll find links to all the tools that I use in my videos down in the description below. All right, so now take a ruler and just extend these lines from the center out. This will fold on these lines. They'll become the tops of each pleat. Okay, that's all of that. Alright, so now we can fold this up so your outside fold comes to the first line, and then each line goes to the next one. So essentially each line becomes the high point of the pleat, and in between kind of becomes the valley. So we're going to go all the way around and do that now. If you watched my previous video, you saw this and I forgot it. It's helpful to keep everything straight if you actually draw around your protractor. That gives you kind of a reference line when you're finished. You want that to be straight when you're finished. Okay, let's go. So you can start to see how that line, you can line it up, because just like any other tie-dye pattern, when you pleat along your line, you want it to be straight when you're finished. So this line that we made with the protractor, it gives you a reference to how to straighten out everything, make sure it's all coming out even. Okay, then the last outside fold goes there. Alright, so now that we've got that pretty well folded up, just to hold it in place temporarily, let's get some rubber bands on it. Alright, just some of our small rubber bands, just to hold it. Alright, it's kind of at this point in the game we want to decide how big, because like I said, we're going to do a wig wag in the middle and then the honeycomb up on top. So here's our collar, and so we are from the collar to the center exactly 12 inches. I think I like, actually I like right where this rubber band is to start the honeycomb, and this end will be our wig wag. I like that. Alright, so now to clean up the pleats here, let me move the camera down closer so we can show you what that looks like, because that's what Mike wanted to see. So give me a second and I'll reposition the camera. Okay, so we're down close to the project, so let's get this cleaned up here. Let me get rubber bands ready. Okay, so I've got my rubber bands ready. Alright, so like I say, here is the tweezer that I use. I have a link for one similar to this in the description. And basically I like using this as a pleating tool because you can get down inside and kind of pull things up. And the lines on the project really helps kind of define where you're supposed to have them. And then you can also take it and tuck it down in other areas where it's up too high. So yeah, it makes, for me, I've always thought a tweezer is a good use for a pleating tool. So you just kind of grab it and pull it as you need to and tuck it where you want it to go, where you want to kind of make more of your pleats, and then also just grabbing the end and pulling it tight and just straightening everything out. But yeah, that's basically it, Mike. It's just a simple, you gotta kind of just keep working with the fabric. Try and get it to do what you want it to do, because a lot of times it's gonna do what it wants to do. See, here's a section that has no pleat at all, so it's down deep. So you just grab that and kind of pull it up, create the folds in there. There you go, just like that. And it's not going to be perfect, but then you just kind of learn to, live with the imperfection, and the imperfection is perfect enough, right? There's perfection in the imperfectness, if that's a word. All right, and see, you lose. Yeah, it's just, so like I say, I like the tweezers because you can kind of pull things up where you want it. All right, and that's about as good as I can make it, and that'll be good enough. All right, and then just like any other wig wag, we're just going to rubber band this off to hold the pleats in place. So that's all of that. So let's get the wig wag pattern set. So I want to start here. Let's see, I want to go about every inch on that. Alright, so then we have to duplicate that on the other side, just make some reference marks, and we'll turn it over and make that a little more accurate. So that is all of our wig wag. Alright, and so now we can start our honeycomb, which means we need our sinew. So I will try to keep this all in the camera view. Now for the honeycomb tie-up pattern, you come diagonally across the side, and then you try to go straight across the top, and then diagonally down the opposite side toward the collar, and then you want to go straight across the bottom, and then you go back diagonally to the top, to the same point, across again, and then diagonally down to where you started, and then you pull that And this is kind of the tricky part, is like keeping these snug enough, but then you just go back over it. And so after you establish where your sinew is, I suggest you go just, you know, halfway, pull it really tight, then go back the other half and pull it really tight, and then just kind of do that a couple more times to really get it cinched in there good. And then you're done with that, and then you come back here to the bottom, and that'll be a new starting point, and you just repeat. Back diagonally, then across the top, and then diagonally again, across the bottom. And then at this point you can kind of pull it tight to help hold that in place. Then you go back up diagonally to the top, across, and then back down to where you started. And then get that good and tight. And then just repeat. All right, enjoy the music. Alright, so I'm going to do kind of a half to finish, because I don't want to get up that close to the collar. So see how we're diagonal here? So I'm basically just going to go straight up and over and back down to this point. That'll be my finish. Okay. Get rid of the rubber band. Okay, so there is our wig wag in the center of a honeycomb mandala. That one needs to be tighter. There we go. Okay. So everything's looking pretty good. It's like you're going to get a little bit of tacoing with these little pleats down here at the point. That's just unavoidable, but it usually doesn't affect the look of the wig wag, so I think we're good. Alright, so that's that. Now the only other thing to do is scrunch up the body and get that banded off. So let me reposition the camera and we will do that. Alright, so let's get this scrunched up and then it'll be ready for dye. Okay, Busters, so here is our honeycomb wig wag shirt all tied up, ready for dye. I've got all the bands on it that I need, so let me set this all up now for the dye and we'll get into that. I'll be right back. Okay, Busters, so ready to dye up our Wig Wag Honeycomb. So we're using lots of colors, so let me tell you what I'm using and kind of point out where it's going, so that way you can know ahead of time. So the Wig Wag is going to, down the center zigzag line, that'll be deep purple. And then on the top side of it, which is by the collar, on this side of it, I'll be doing our kind of hot colors. So we'll do Chinese red next to the deep purple. And then this is pretty narrow, so I'll probably just put on bright yellow next to the Chinese red. Then on the back side of it, so next to the deep purple, I'll be doing turquoise. And then on the very bottom edge of that, I'll be using a lime pop. And then up here in the honeycomb, we'll probably just do a progression of rainbow colors. So I'll probably start off with amethyst, then Chinese red, soft orange, bright yellow, lime pop, bright green, turquoise, lavender, and deep purple. And then the body, I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the body. You just have to watch along and it'll be a surprise because I don't even know what I'm going to do there yet. It's kind of, isn't it kind of when you're doing these, it's like, you know, the inspiration will come to me when I get that far. Okay, well, let's start applying some dye. This here is Robin's Egg Blue. Stripe of this around here. All right, Busters, so this is finished. So now it'll go in the curing tub for 24 hours. And after that time, I'll take it out to the laundry sink and we'll rinse it out. I'll start with cold water. That helps rinse out the excess soda ash that's in the fabric. And then I'll turn it up to hot to rinse out any dye that hasn't bonded with the shirt yet. And then after I've rinsed it all out, it'll go in the laundry. We'll do a hot water wash, a cold water rinse. It'll be washed in detergent and Curelon. I have a link for Curelon in my description, so check that out. And then it'll be dried, and then we'll bring it back in here for a reveal. So I will see you at the reveal. Okay, Buster Buddies, so here is our Honeycomb Wig Wag. Yeah, it came out pretty good. Obviously we have quite a bit of white space, and this section here would be in the center of these nodules. So this would be the surface here on one side and the surface on the other side. Yeah, to do it properly, you really need to like apply the dye, let it sit for 30 minutes. You could even squeeze each one of those little nodules to help drive the dye in toward the center, and then apply more dye. But with these videos, you know, they get long to begin with, but just to speed up the process, you see how I apply the dye, and that's usually the only dye I apply. But when you do this pattern yourself, apply the dye to its full capacity. You can tell how wet it gets. Let it sit so it absorbs into those little nodules, and then even, like I say, squeeze them to help drive the dye deeper. And then you can apply a little bit more dye to the point where it's almost going to run off into each other. And then you should end up with less white spaces on the inside, such as I ended up with here. But our wig wag came out really nice. The purple and kind of got up into the yellow here. It's interesting. We've got some green, but the reds and then the turquoise with the lime pop, it's all really nice. Anyway, it's got nice definition. So yeah, that's how we do a wig wag honeycomb shirt. Let me show you the back. We just did solid colors, so it's nothing special. It's just color, but it's nice. You know, it makes for an interesting back. You almost have this bat-looking shape on the back here. Yep. Anyway, hope you liked this video. Hope you learned something new on it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. And then share me around. That helps me out as well. All right, let's head over to the desk for a sign-off. Thanks for watching. Okay, I think that project turned out rather nice, but that's just my opinion. But tell me in the comments what you think about it. At least I hope you learned something new in this project. And you know, you made it this far in the video, so why don't you subscribe as well? And give me a thumbs up if you really thought this was cool. And Busters, if you like this video, please share it around. That really helps me out as well. And if you'd like to help out my channel, don't forget about my Buy Me a Coffee page. And also use my affiliate links. They're in the description below. Peace out, baby. I love all you subscribers. And go have fun tie-dyeing. Apply more dye. Hi, can I help you? You want out? Excuse me.